Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Between the Sharks. We have been plugging away on the Model T, and we got some editing to do on that, and the Mercury has also been sort of plugging along. That rear suspension project is turning into a Lord of the Rings type length saga, but I am doing my best. It's not finished yet, but once I get it sorted out, that will be quite, it'll be a thing. But today, we have a bit of a surprise, something that I didn't really expect to have happen. And I think you guys will think it's really neat. So it turns out we have a new vehicle in the family now. And when I say we, I mean myself and my better half Stacy. She owns the 86 Jimmy that you've seen featured, I don't know, in previous videos. We did the shine juice, the brake job. We've been searching for a while for one of these, and we haven't been able to find one until, well, we stumbled on one just around the corner. This is probably, in my opinion, one of the most fun vehicles built after the year 1980, and it hasn't been tagged in something like 7 or 8 years, maybe longer. I really don't know. It's been sitting up for a while. It does run and drive, but yeah, let's go take a look at it. I don't know. I think it's rad. Maybe you'll think it's rad. Let's go.
Ta-da!
Ta-da. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Stacy, and this is her 88 Jeep Wrangler YJ. What, 2 years of searching, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace.
Something like that, yep.
Went in test row 1.
Yeah, it was too slow. Automatic.
Oh, test row 2. Because the other one was a rust bucket.
Oh,
totally rusted
God,
out.
Totally rusted out.
Bondo over that. Paint over the Bondo. But after all of the searching, this was 2 blocks away.
Oh, we'd driven by it for years.
So we finally went up and asked the dude, really nice guy named Perry, owns a shop. He took this thing in on trade. He puttered around with it for a while, but wasn't really a Jeep guy. Said he'd be willing to sell it. So we called him.
This is my first stick shift vehicle.
How about it?
I've tried to drive Ryan's truck, which I'm assuming
Is on
has
the
made
channel,
it
the
onto the
C10.
channel. 3-speed on the column was not good.
It's a bad starting vehicle.
For me.
To learn to drive. Let's just actually take a look at the car. We'll let her give you the tour of all the parts
Why
and
don't
pieces.
you do that?
Things we've discovered. No.
No. This is you. There's a guy in the background always mowing the lawn too.
Every episode has a leaf blower, and this one will not be any different. So first things first, you may notice that it has a bit of damage up here. We've kind of chased it around, and it's on both sides, and it seems as if it got hit here and got knocked back that way. I have a fan shroud that suggests the same thing, that the fan was knocked backwards into the shroud. And if you look close enough at these, oh, you can't see anything because of the sun, the spot where the rubber hit the whoop-de-doo is about a 1/4 inch back from where it used to be. The previous owner thought it had frame damage, but I don't really believe that. It is a pretty rust-free Jeep for these YJs. There's nothing, like the floors are still there, and the frame, where it rots out really bad, is actually super solid on this car. Top is a little cattywampus, and this door doesn't shut. Now we figured that the door was related to this damage, but it really doesn't seem like that at this point. I've at least measured the door opening, and it seems accurate for both sides. I think this hinge was actually removed at some point. It's got a couple different colors of paint, but we can't tell if that's a repaint or just sun fading. So its life has been in Texas, California, and Hawaii.
Hawaii to Texas to California to Georgia.
And there we are. So I think this is the only other body damage that I've seen. It's got, you know, a little bit of whatever from its own life, and just, you know, the regular barnacles from sitting, which happen on every vehicle around here. Oh yeah, and these super 90s, very crunchy American racing wheels. Actually, that's interesting. I wonder if these were driven by the beach at any point, because these are actually super crusty. But
well, my father would probably like to powder coat those.
He would. It's still got all of its floors, which is pretty impressive for... Oh, hey, we got a spare tail light. How about that?
What have we
Oh, hey, look.
discovered shit? Ooh.
We got back
What is?
seat remove. Thanks. I don't know.
I feel like that could be cleaned up and like
All right. I mean,
the OG steering wheel.
we haven't looked in the glove box.
I
haven't
have.
looked. Oh, have we?
Yeah, I looked in the glove box when we were still at the place.
That's not a good sign of like how to tow your vehicle. But it's not you towing something, it's you getting towed.
Okay, cool.
All right, hang on. What's the mileage now?
141,794.
And the next service date, 9/8/15 at 139,123. So since 2015, it's got 2,500 miles put on it.
Cigarette butts.
Oh, cool. Well, how about that?
Gross.
That thing powered up, but there don't seem to be functioning speakers anymore. Those seem toast. The top was replaced at some point, and it's held up by these bungee cords over here, and that back piece isn't really doing the thing it's supposed to be doing, but we don't really know how to take the top off yet. Seats are in as good as condition as the floor is, and the dog seems to like riding around in it okay. That brings us to this. I know, it's the dreaded BA10 Peugeot 5-speed, I think. 98.67% sure that it is that French-made 5-speed that has aluminum synchronizers. So our plan is to drive the pants off it until it gives it up. All right, gang. If you're shopping Wranglers here, there's a couple things you might want to look out for. I've learned over the years that they have a really bad rust problem in the frame. So if you're shopping, look in this area, and the rust problem should be evident. Basically, stuff goes in this little hole and it cruises on down here and has no way out, and then these whole things rust out. Next thing here is the transmissions. They came with a notorious BA10 transmission, which is a Peugeot made 5-speed behind, I think, every 6-cylinder in 87 and 88, partially through 89, I think. Now, those are notorious because they just don't hold up to any rough use. They have aluminum synchronizers. It's a poor design from the factory, but it is what it is. So if you drive a pre-1990, there are a couple of ways to identify it. I'd look into it yourself, but if you feel like you got a grinding transmission, you might be into a world of hurt. Now, the good news is an AX15 from 90 or on will actually swap into this thing, but I've looked into it enough. You kind of want to get the whole transfer case thing, otherwise you have to modify output shafts and some other stuff. But that will be what we do should this thing finally kick the bucket. But right now it's shifting pretty smooth, no grinding, and I hear that there is some kind of special like oil combination using, you know, some kind of witchcraft that helps keep these things, you know, more stable and last longer. So we'll be doing that soon here on the channel. And then finally, 6-cylinder or 4-cylinder. There's really only two options. This is a 4.26, which is only available in the early YJs, I think, you know, early 90s. And then they went to a 4.0 fuel injected, which in theory has more horsepower based on its fuel delivery system and all that stuff than the 4.2. The Jeep forums have their opinions on it. I don't know. All I know is I was after a 6 instead of a 4. Basically, just for driving condition reasons and having that extra bit of torque, you know, to get the thing uphill on the highway. People love the 4-bangers. Maybe they're great. I don't know. I would love to hear what you think about it. I am brand new to this Jeep stuff. Oh, right. It's also got stock suspension. And if I've learned anything from the Bubbas that I got this from, I don't want to be undoing somebody else's really bad lift that didn't take into account any steering geometry or anything else. That thing handles so poorly, and I still have so much work to do, and I still drive it all the time, whatever. But lifted trucks don't handle very well, and if they're done poorly by amateurs, they handle poorly, like they were done by amateurs. So basically, there's your options: 6-cylinder or 4-cylinder. We found the 6 that we wanted. Rust-free, or, you know, need some frame replacement, which is pretty common on the backside, and they do sell parts and pieces for that, and it's not that expensive. You do have to know how to weld, but we can do that around here. So that was, you know, kind of a winner. And then it's not lifted, it's not bubbled up. That's also pretty important. And then the one sacrifice is the Peugeot BA10 transmission. And given the type of driving we expect to do with this thing, the fact that it's holding up all right now, I expect that it will actually be okay for some, you know, amount of time. Knock on wood. I think the dream combination is inline 6, probably the 4.0 with the AX15 5-speed, so you have the overdrive and being rust-free and unbubbled up. But that is a long checklist for the way people usually handle these Jeeps. Good luck finding that. Honestly, I couldn't. And if you do, they're really, really expensive. It is what it is, and we'll see how everything goes with the transmission and everything in the future. But we're really excited, and this is, you know, I think the CJs and the, you know, all that's really cool too. But this overdrive is what makes it a practical vehicle in our situation. I mean, I know people, you know, some people hate these things, like real Jeeps have round headlights and all that stuff. But if you can't get past yourself to figure out how much fun a little Jeep like this can be, especially with a 5th gear and overdrive, and the fact that it is sort of like the last generation of super simple car. There's nothing to it. We've got gauges, a heater, which is unreal, steering wheel, speedometer, tach, headlights. Nothing. Nada. You get yourself into a modern Jeep at a dealership, even a Wrangler or a TJ or a Rubicon or whatever they call these things, you may as well be flying a spaceship. Like, this is bare bones. And I think it's just fantastic. It's cat's pajamas. All right, so that's the basics. Skinny on what it is. And I think it's time for his first bath in 2015. Calculus, 7 years. I think it's original paint because the damage hasn't been repaired. The pinstripe looks original. Yeah. I don't know if it's just sun faded weird. It's been in California, Hawaii, and Texas before it got all these barnacles by sitting under a tree in Georgia. I'm expecting some pretty faded paint, but decent paint. So maybe some shine juice and some wax and
Ninja dust?
Not bad. She's still learning how to drive it, and she did that on camera. One victory. It's washed, but not shiny. Dog's already relaxed in the back. We're gonna go take it for a spin around the block. It's not registered and there's no tags. But anyway, there'll be more of this. We'll figure out what it needs as it breaks. And yeah, all that stuff. So thanks for watching Between the Sharks. We'll see you next time. Good luck on your projects.